10th, that how many? I don't know. They ran into 5, 6 trail watchers.
Yeah, that was sort of on
Yes.
the way up towards.
A new guy, Nowak, he was a machine gunner. He got shot in both legs, I think. I don't think anybody was killed, but there were guys that were wounded. So it got to be dark. Nobody, we didn't move out. We had to wait till the next morning, which was the 11th, and we moved out very slowly, following blood trails, and we found some dead NBA.
Yeah.
I think it was Frank and didn't you guys go through their pockets? And I'm surprised they weren't stripped out the night before, but yeah, they.
Maybe because they were alone. There weren't any other NBA there. They
There
were maybe so far back that.
you could spit and hit NBA in that Asian Valley. They were everywhere. But I think they left them there for whatever, because trail watchers were popping rounds and, hey, like a game, chase me, follow me up this trail. This is where I'm taking you. And
we knew they were leading us into an ambush.
Yeah.
I mean, it
Just
was
didn't know where it was gonna
plain
be.
as day, what they're doing, but that's where we were supposed to be going, to the top of that hill.
And you didn't have much choice, did you? Because there was only the trail
That's
to
exactly,
follow
yep.
and along the ridge.
Yep.
There wasn't a big field.
Mhm.
So.
But even on those ravines, about 20, 25 feet down, they had those, they were, I think they were made by the Chinese. They were those big, not a claymore, but it was those big round shells that they would detonate. They
They
were,
were Claymore mines, just a
but
different.
they weren't like ours.
No,
They were
right.
big ass mines.
Yeah.
And they had them on the front of some trees, and then they put them on the backside. So when you're going up the hill, you're not looking behind you.
No.
But they had those things like 20, 25 feet down on those steep ravines. So if anybody thought, let's slip down and go up this way, they were prepared for that. And it always amazed me why their defense was on the western side, knowing the attack was coming from that side, because it would have made sense to me for the attack to come from the valley side. But they were prepared for it to come. There was only you go to the bottom of the hill, the river's there, it's Laos.
Yeah.
So they were really close. There's not a lot of room to land a bunch of troops on the western side of the hill and attack it. But all their fortification was towards that side,
Yeah.
or toward an attack from that side.
But they had them right where we went.
Yeah, exactly.
And maybe too that I guess they had observation posts, guys in trees and things that could look down and see.
Yeah.
And so if they saw people coming from that side, from the A-Shaw,
Oh, you're
they
okay.
could get troops
Yeah.
over.
When or who did the assault? Was it you that did the assault on the 11th?
We started out on point,
Yeah.
and then they moved 4th Platoon ahead of us because,
Yeah.
His strap broke.
Oh yeah, that was the one. Yeah.
and
And that was when Chuck Denham was injured. Yeah.
and like I say, everybody knew they were just walking us into an ambush.
Yeah. So when they came back, did you moved up also later that afternoon, on the 11th? Did you move into the clearing on the 11th? No.
No, we didn't.
No.
No.
Well, they went
So
in,
you pulled
went
back
in
for
and
the day.
pulled the
went
dead.
and pulled the dead.
Oh
Moved
yeah.
it back.
Yeah.
But we
And-
pulled back from that some and set up the NDP.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Yeah.
And that night, we saw them lighting their little campfires
Yeah.
to cook their rice with. And it reminded me of, what do you call them, lightning bugs, that's what we used to call them. That was, I mean, that whole complex up there is what we could see. I was on, let's see, we go up this, I was facing southeast. My foxhole, I could look right up, and it was just lights and fires everywhere.
Because they lived there.
Yeah, this is our home, come and get us. They didn't give a shit. But we didn't realize how determined they were. Even on the last day, didn't they find 6 of them chained to a tree?
They said so.
Yeah, and they asked to be. They weren't done. It wasn't, and that was on the 20th. But the one guy, Jay something, he was a journalist that came out to the Hill.
Sherbert or something like that?
Yes, and I think that someone was saying that it was him that said, they gave it the term Hamburger Hill. I don't know if that was, because as he was flying in, he saw chunks of bodies, and he said you got the green jungle, but it's just, full of red chunks. But he also saw they had snipers in the tree that tied themselves in, and they would stay up there until they died, but they volunteered to do it, I guess. I don't know.
Volunteered.
But yes,
They were
yes,
encouraged to be volunteers.
to get up there.
They might have volunteered just as much as we did to charge up the hill.
Exactly. But I always found it amazing that the Vietnamese that fought there, they had a name for the hill, and they called it the meat grinder. And that was before, they were calling that during the battle. And then that's what you send meat through to become hamburger. So they were surprised that we continued coming. We were surprised that they continued and fought. NVA usually would maybe engage a day or two and then adios. All they had to do was run down the draw and they were in Laos. Not complete freedom. Ironwood trees.
After we was talking about this the other night, and I'm thinking again,
Yeah.
what it's like. You got the trail, and the trail's considerably wide trail.
Yeah.
Wasn't a game trail.
Yeah, it wasn't a game trail, but anyway, it was considerably a wide trail. But then you go 8 feet or 10 feet on either side, and it drops off on both sides. So you went right up the trail.
And that is pretty much what we
Yeah.
see
Yeah.
here,
And the day I got, what day we're at?
11th.
What, was it
Oh.
the 12th, and then I got pinned down up there, was that?
Oh, yeah, that would have been, either the 12th or 13th.
Yeah.
And on that day, when we'd started up the trail, and I think they had a squad on, just kind of off the side, on the right side of the trail. I was on the left side of the trail with my squad.
Yeah.
And worked my way up towards, I found this dumb big log, and I just crawled up along that.
Yeah.
I mean, just laid down and crawled up. But you're crawling through vines, you got all that little bottom brush, all the big trees.
But there were still trees then.
Big trees. Oh, yeah,
Because
yeah.
this was early, so it
yeah.
probably looked something similar to.
Yeah.
Big trees.
Big trees.
Big
Big
teak,
stuff.
ironwood trees with the big roots coming out of the ground and heavily forested. They didn't thin that out very much.
And you and Frank, was that when you moved up on the right side? No? That was when they brought the 90 up and shot into a bunker. Was that the same? When you got back behind the log?
Yeah, no, we were actually over on the left side of the trail up there. Frank and I were over to the left side of the trail, and who was it? Clifton and Nelson?
Nelson. But Nelson got hit the 12th or 13th on that airstrike.
Yeah, Nelson got
Then
hit.
killed Westman.
Yeah. But
But that was further down, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
it was further down.
But this one, you got
Yeah.
up to the log.
Yeah, got up to the log. Upon getting to the log, I crawled up there about as far as I could, and I looked up, and there's a gook looking at me.
Yeah.
60 feet, maybe.
Yeah.
And I just pulled my head back down and thought, there's a soldier. What? I peeked again, and he wasn't there, and he popped back up and went back down. I thought, okay. Shoved the rifle up over the log. He popped up, I hit the trigger twice, and that's when the machine gun started working on me.
Yeah. But was he in a bunker or was he just?
I don't know
out
whether
in
he
the open?
was in I don't know whether it was just a
They had spider holes.
a spider hole,
A
or
lot of times you
or-
couldn't even tell where the fire was actually
No.
coming from because
Unless you
of
saw the blast.
growth and everything.
And I never could see where the machine gun fire was coming from.
No.
The 51 was
But
from
then
that one hill.
I took that, yeah, but the machine gun was working on me. I could never tell where the machine gun fire was coming from,
No.
other than it was coming up there,
Yeah.
off to the side of it. And then I never, like I said the other night, I didn't want to move.
No, of
I was
course.
afraid that machine gun's gonna get me if I moved at all. Till they started throwing the grenade. That whoever was up there, if there was another one, whether I hit that one or not, I have no idea. And that first grenade, I heard that pop. And I mean, there was a lot of shooting going on, but I hear this thing pop. And I look up and this grenade's coming in. The vines and the limbs and everything, about halfway between us, it hits something and drops down. When that thing went bang, I went. They were telling me to pull back at that time.
Yeah.
I just didn't want to go back. But I moved in. But we had, but this time we had, medic was wounded. I don't know how many other people. Because they were getting the RPGs behind me.
Because they had
the
pulled back on the right side.
The RPGs were coming in,
Yeah.
blow me. They were firing past me,
Yeah.
putting into the treetops down there and working us over pretty good. But
You know, the only place I didn't go, when we went back up on the hill with the tanks, like I said, we went down the ridge line with Charlie and Alpha Company had assaulted. Went down in both ravines because they were clearing them out,
Yeah.
but I never went to ours.
No.
Me and a couple of the guys that were me, Kinsey, Hernandez, the new CO came up and said, "Listen, if any of you would like to walk down to your former NDP and take a look at it, you can. Just let me know if you want to go." And none of us decided we want. I mean, the rest of the hill, but I just didn't want to go down there.
No.
So I never went down that one again, but I went everywhere else.
Yeah.
While we were up there.
And then you got back again down, so now we're at the 13th or something, 14th.
13th,
13th is when Westman, or
is that's when the bomber got
The
us?
friendly fire, yeah.
and got Nelson and I don't know, maybe a couple other guys. It was supposed to be one jet would come in and drop a bomb, and the second one was supposed to come in and not drop it, and that's when we take off. Is that right? Or there was some kind of.
Very dense.
But you know, you get back to that day,
Yeah,
that day broke our backs. I mean,
yeah.
Well, it was either
I
that-
never heard a person say anything negative at all about Westman.
No.
And he was without a doubt the best guy in the platoon. And everybody liked him. And he was one of the youngest, wasn't it? Was him short round?
Yeah, Miles was born, let's see, in 49, November of 49.
And, you know, for somebody like that to get killed, that really affected every one of us.
Yeah.
It just,
I can remember, I've often told people, if you could plug me in the computer, take the picture of the jet.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody that was in that clearing and around it, damn near, And someone said it was one rocket, but
No.
I was gonna, don't they follow?
I think 6.
Yeah, they said like one rocket hit, and I'm thinking, no way in hell.
No.
That killed Westman.
No,
no.
on the, our battalion CP,
Ah,
the
yeah.
CO.
They said it was at least 4, I think.
Yeah,
from the book.
had to be more than
4
one.
275s.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's only in the book, so.
Yeah, well, I don't,
It had,
I don't know how many, would, the
No.
boom, 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 we
Yeah.
had there was a
and
bunch of them.
someone from one of the other companies swears up and down that that was our own mortar rounds that were, it was a short round that went out. They got
No,
that
no,
wasn't a mortar round, but they swear up and down that's what it was. That's what it was caused from. So everybody's got their own vision
Everybody's
of
got
what
their own
happened.
Doc
Of
shock,
course.
right after the bang. Doc shock, and I was right there at the mess.
Yeah.
And he said, he asked for my knife, I gave him my knife, and he was cutting a strap and hanging an IV and this, and he said, over there, he said, that's battalion net radio.
Yeah. Yeah. That's bad. But what,
He said, you don't get radio, call on it. And I did. And, I said, we got pile of wounded, we're Bravo Company, we've got a pile of wounded this. He asked me my name, my rank, whatever, I gave him that. And then, give me the captain. I said, I can see the captain. I said, he's laying here, he's unconscious or dead. And I said, I don't know which.
Yeah.
And he said, well, who's in charge? Hell, I don't know who's in charge. I said, okay, how on Bush? I don't know. So I found Frank, and then Frank talked to him, but
yeah.
he,
Who was
all,
you talking to, Blackjack?
Blackjack.
Oh, okay,
And
okay.
all he wanted done was keep the attack
Keep the
going.
captain.
He didn't want to give a shit how many people were wounded or whatever, just keep the attack going.
Yeah.
It was kind of hard to do.
Yeah.
It,
All I wanted was a couple medevacs.
Yeah.
hell, how do we get them guys out? Do we hump them back to that little, area we had at where the medics were? Did they go out that way, or did they? Because some guys, wounded guys, they ran them back to the battalion CP and sent them out that way. I guess if they weren't badly.
Yeah, I don't think they were too bad. I think they picked some out there pretty close, somehow Basket
Yeah.
or something.
On the
15.
16th. 15.
15.
Yeah.
And then the 16th, we went up again.
It kind of got to the point it was, you went up that damn trail till they really got to working on you with the 50s or whatever. And you found a place to hide.
Yeah.
And
you tried to shoot back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You did your best, but it was the point of
On the-
suicide or
Yeah.
The afternoon of the 16th, when I think we had made an attempt to do something in the morning. They called in some arty strikes, or maybe it was airstrikes. Remember when they told us we always had to pull back so far so that nobody else would get injured? And I think it might have been the 16th. We just get in our holes, and they, because I remember watching
Yeah.
and it wasn't artillery, it was airstrikes, but a big piece of white shrapnel, boom, ran into a tree right above me and Kinsey. But we got in the foxholes and put our rucksacks on us.
Yeah.
But that's when my good friend Bob Kinsey, we were in a foxhole over on Airborne, and he would say, hey, cover me, I've got to go out and go to the bathroom. And I would, he'd go out, nothing. I would go out, and a machine gunner across on a ridgeline would open up on me.
Yeah.
And I'd come jumping back. He thought that was the funniest thing in the world. He goes, watch. He said, I can go out and they don't bother me. He said, that guy must have field glasses and he spots your ugly ass going out there. And but we're on the hill, And Kinsey was just really, he hated being an assistant machine gunner, didn't want to be around it, didn't want to touch the gun. And Frank made him my assistant gunner, but he goes, I'm going to go out and, or, no, he didn't say that. He said, I got to take a shit. He said, will you cover me? I said, well, yeah. And so we're in a foxhole. He drops his pants and shits in the foxhole. And I said, what the fuck are you doing? And he goes, you don't think I'm going out front, do you? And the thing, he was, everybody liked Bob. He was a damn good soldier. But that was probably the night of the 15th. I mean, everybody was just tired. And they didn't want to do anything extra where they may catch around.
But
on
you
the-
know,
the
I have
LV.
mixed emotions about us not actually getting to the top of the hill
Yeah,
during that
yeah.
operation.
Yeah, of
I mean,
course.
it already cost us so much, and then we didn't get
But
there.
as a unit, you did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they couldn't have gotten to the top if we hadn't done what we did,
No,
you
of
know,
course.
but,
Yeah, we wore them down for them so they could go up there and walk up and,
It sure didn't seem like it.
but we had
I know
to
it.
be down on the lower LZ with Italian CP and all that, and to listen to all that taking place in the last, and that was kind of a bitter pill to swallow for me.
Yeah, but we were still functioning. We
Yeah.
carried
Yeah.
ammo and carried
Yeah.
bodies. The reunions, I love these things
Yeah.
since we started coming to it. Because we find out, on account of the jungle and everything, we don't know what happened but to us. And then part of the time, we didn't know what
Yeah.
we were doing.
couldn't see behind you,
Yeah.
in front of you,
So-
beside you.
Yeah.
So this is good. You talk to the soldier from the next platoon or from the next company, they were doing this, and you can understand it a little better, the battle. But,
Yeah.
and, you know, it's great seeing the guys again all the time. You get a chance to see them.
Well, so most of the time, we didn't really know what was going on.
No.
We were just doing what we were told to do,
Yeah.
and,
Yeah, they didn't give us too much information.
No.
They didn't want to swell our heads up with anything. It was, they didn't need to. You know, you were soldiers, they told you, this is what we're doing, this is the way we're going, and saddle up and let's go.